What do you think about Black History Month?
There's no such thing as black people. So
Okay,
I mean,
but what do you think
Brown
about
history? Our History Month. What about it? It should be in June.
Okay.
When hip hop started, right?
Okay, that's one way of looking at it.
It should be in June. The longest day of the year. That's why I say that.
Why should we even have to have one? When is Pink History Month?
Okay, but I think an African American came up with that though.
Okay, but
what was it, Carter G. Wilson or somebody?
Okay, all right.
I'm not sure, but
so when is Pink History Month?
never mind them. We doing us. Who cares?
That's what I'm trying to say. So
that's their prerogative.
So you know why they don't have a Pink History Month? Because all year round is their month.
Okay.
Everything. I care.
We in opposition.
Because instead of
there's nothing wrong with us reflecting on our history.
Every day we should do that.
You're right. And we do. He does.
We should do that. Right. And we should not depend on them letting us get a month. Because that's what it is. We're always, everything that we got, we feel like they gave us.
It's February, so many teachers and schools are celebrating Black History Month. But there are still many misconceptions and misunderstandings about the past, present, and future of this celebration. What we now know as Black History Month had its beginnings as Negro History Week, which was invented by the famed historian, educator, and activist Carter G. Woodson in 1926. Negro History Week was a direct challenge to traditional curricula of the time period, which often degraded and dehumanized Black people. More than just a chance to talk about a few notable achievements, Negro History Week was a call to action. Now, Woodson didn't do this work alone. Moving from idea to reality took the dedication of thousands of Black teachers, most of them women, who were largely responsible for shaping the celebration through their work in the classroom. It also took the work of entire communities, including churches, fraternities and sororities, libraries and lodges, social clubs, and civic organizations. As the movement continued to grow, it outstripped the bounds of a single week, and the word Negro, which was outdated by the 1960s, was replaced by a new generation born and raised in the civil rights struggle. Black History Month emerged in its current form during those decades and is still going strong.
Since the 1890s, Black communities celebrated the birthdays of two people considered to have a big impact on Black history in the United States: Abraham Lincoln, February 12th, and Frederick Douglass, February 14th. This association in 1926 sponsored a National Negro History Week, choosing the second week of February to coincide with Lincoln and Douglass's birthday.
Because that's what it is. We're always, everything that we got, we feel like they gave us.
I don't know, Faye. I see pessimism. We might have fought for that. I think it's Carter G. Woodson. I don't know.
Okay,
but
so we fought for a month?
That. We fought for a lot of things.
But we fought for a month?
I don't know. I don't know the full history of that.
Well, we should have, if that was the case, we should have fought for the year. We should have said, listen, there's not going to be nothing about those people without something about us.
But you know what, Faze? A lot of our people would say, and I would say too, it's dangerous to just live in history. We have to live for the present and the future.
And that's 100% right.
California's first in the nation statewide reparations task force is meeting today and tomorrow in downtown Sacramento. And members are working on recommendations for state lawmakers on what form reparations should take in the state of California. And the goal is to help make amends for the generations of harm to African Americans caused by slavery and its longstanding effects in society.
Capital, money, reparations. That will stimulate this economy for the 2.6 million blacks in California.
Dozens of people lined up to speak at day one of the California Reparations Task Force's March meeting held this month in Sacramento. They offered various perspectives on how reparations should look for black Californians.
So I want to be very clear. Land. Healthy land. Healthy land, not toxic land.
You have to live for the present and the future.
And that's 100% right. And so our future should say, okay, we're not going to just say it, take a month. We're taking the whole year. That's what our
To what? Reflect on the past?
No.
What about the present and the future?
No. Should reflect on us as a whole, period.
Right.
Or
Well, I think we're doing that, FaZe. I think we're doing that. A lot of us is doing that. There's enough of us doing it. Like I say, it's just not in real time. It's on the internet.
Do you know how many people, our people, and other people that are against Michael Wayne TV because of what we do?
I don't know. I don't get too much resistance. I get more.
It's not.
I get more positive.
We get more. We get much more positive. But it's the fact that why would that negative even exist? If we were doing something wrong, that would be a different story.
Right.
But we're trying to do everything right for our people.
Right.
And that's where we need some resistance.
But you shouldn't let that discourage you.
It doesn't discourage resistance. It doesn't discourage
It shouldn't discourage you because you know why? See, look, these are the jewels that help me in life. There's always going to be negative. There's a wobble to the earth.
Well, the earth has a wobble in its motion.
According to a study published in the journal Earth and Planetary Science Letters, there are 3 reasons why Earth wobbles: glacial rebound, melting of ice, and mantle convection. Earth's shape and weight distribution isn't perfectly even due to the mountains and glaciers on Earth's surface. Large glaciers, such as Antarctica or the Arctic, compress the Earth, which causes the sides of the planet to bulge outward.
Did you know the Honorable Elijah Muhammad? I'm coming back to my teacher. I was with him one day and I said, "Dear Apostle, why does the scripture say that God would make all things new if there wasn't something wrong with what was already in existence?" He answered me like this. He said, "Brother, there's nothing in the universe that's perfectly round." Think about that answer. From the shape of our heads, nobody in here has a round head. Everybody's head is oblong. Look at the shape. Wider here, narrow here, right? Sometimes it comes to a point back here. Now you go pluck any fruit from any tree, it'll never be perfectly round. And if you look at the atom, which is the essence of everything, it is not round, it is oblong. Now you came from the earth, I came from the earth. We came from the earth. What shape does the earth have? Earth is oblong. Well, the earth has a wobble in its motion. As there's a wobble in the planet that is only compensated for by its lean and its obedience, there's a wobble in the nature of the human being. There's a wobble in the nature of the human being. And unless we obey God, that wobble in this will shorten our life.
There's a wobble to the earth. So there's always going to be negativity. It's in the air. It's electrons, electric charges in the air.
In the atom, there's positive and negative. The very base of the universe is the dialectic of positive and negative. So that means there's positive and negative in everything. There's positive and negative in everything. Is that right?
Zap. To understand static electricity, we first need to know a bit about the nature of matter. All matter is made up of atoms that consist of 3 types of smaller particles: negatively charged electrons, positively charged protons, and neutral neutrons.
These are the jewels that help me in life. There's always going to be negative. There's a wobble to the earth. So there's always going to be negativity. It's in the air. It's electrons, electric charges in the air. So there's always going to be positive and negative. So when I learned that eased my mind, a lot, because I know that there's always going to be some kind of negativity. In me, there's negativity. The point is to have a balance or to have the positive outweigh the negative. Okay. It's just that simple, Joe.
Well, salute those negative.
Right.
Salute them. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Haters gonna be haters.
The haters
gonna be haters.
All right. So we did black. Why we shouldn't be called black.
Right.
We did Black History, and that was 100% true. We need to stop focusing on what has the past and start focusing on the future.
And the present.
Present.
At their January meeting, task force members agreed to recommend that the state of California create something called the California African American Freedmen Affairs Agency to implement their recommendations and process claims. Now, those recommendations, those are due to the legislature in a final report this summer. Now, as for who would be eligible, the task force voted last year that Black Californians who descended from enslaved Africans or from a free Black person living in the U.S. prior to the end of the 1800s would be eligible for monetary reparations.
In the present.
In the present. Right. And that's a very good passage to have, is to stay current.
Right.
And stay. Okay, so we did that. Now let's go back to hip hop. Okay. I was dying to do. Okay. I've came to the conclusion that, and I've said this before, the reason why we get so much resistance on hip hop is
we don't get resistance.
Yes, we do. Because number one.
Well, I don't see it.
Well, then what is the?
Except the Spanish troll.
What's the 50th anniversary of hip hop?
Well, they doing their thing. You gotta understand that's been in the works for the past years. That's been at least years in the making. So, I don't want them to stop. I'm not even against Kool Herc. That's his part. Like Theodore said, Grand Wizard Theodore said, that's Herc's beginning.
So it was no one person.
Nah.
From your point of view.
No, it wasn't no one person.
No one person.
No, hip hop was always here.
So what about when they call Herc the father of hip hop then?
Well, I'm not taking anything away from Herc. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
What Herc and Cindy did in 1520, I'm not taking nothing away from that,
Okay, but that's not the beginning of hip hop to you?
Not at the beginning, no. That's the beginning of Herc. Right. Cindy. That's what that is. It's not the beginning of Herc hop. It's the beginning of Herc and his sister Cindy. It's the beginning of what they did, what they started.
Wow.
How their contribution to this art form, that's the day it started for them.
So if you want to award Herc with his beginning, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't have a problem with that.
Okay, well then, you my man.
Right.
You my man for saying it.
Right.
That's Herc's beginning.
Right.
Right. Theodore, I love that for you. I love you for that. Okay. So the real beginning is before that, and that's perfectly said.
Right. The beginning of hip hop is when African American youth culture took over their environment and began to express themselves creatively through the elements that we now call hip hop.
Everything that you just said, I agree with, except for one thing.
What?
African American.
Okay. What are we?
We are. That's what we have to name ourselves.
Okay, so until we name ourselves, I roll with Jesse Jackson. He used to be one of our leaders.
Okay. Now is the time for us to disidentify as African Americans, which doesn't even exist. It's not a legal word. It was invented by Jesse Jackson in 1988.
We are grown. We ain't kicking it no more. No more yesterballs. No more bowing and scraping. We are 25 million strong. Cut us in or cut it out. Either they move on.
Today we are together. We are unified and on one accord. But when we are together, we got power. And we can make decisions.
We want to be men. We want self-determination.
I am somebody. I may be poor, but I am somebody. I may be on welfare, but I am somebody. I may be unskilled, but I am somebody.
That's what we have to name ourselves.
Okay, so until we name ourselves, I roll with Jesse Jackson. He used to be one of our leaders.
Okay, wait. And I've been giving that some thought. Right? We need to kind of get away from everything American, because that, wait a minute, listen, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because America is named by them, right?
Okay.
And so America was claimed by them.
Okay.
Right? So if it's claimed by them and it's named by them, it's basically theirs.
Okay, I agree with you, right? I agree with you wholeheartedly. But what I'm saying is, you already know I want to be sovereign, right? Or at least a commonwealth.
Right.
Until then, we still got birth certificates, we still got social security numbers. We're still American citizens by law. Okay, we have to follow the laws of the land or the consequences.
All right.
Which is a dungeon.
Let's go to the front.
So
let's go to the front.
Okay. You said the front?
Yeah.
We was talking about hip hop.
No, again, that's why I'm going to the front. Grab.
Okay.
Okay. Now, the reason why I wanted you to come to the front is because I wanted you to see what happens. When we were talking about hip hop, I wanted you to see what happens now.
Okay.
This Bronxdale,
right,
is the start, is the creation of hip hop.
Right.
Okay.
The graffiti,
right,
us. Graffiti, the rap,
right.
You know all that stuff came from us.
We was the original taggers. We was the original taggers. We tagging that Spade logo all over New York City. Everywhere we had turf, we tagged it, whether it was on the concrete, on the building, bench, whatever, wherever it was.
What year was that? Like, when was y'all tagging them Spades up? When y'all started that? 71?
Yeah, 70, 71, and 72. Well, we just like the dozen.
The dozen.
You play the dozen, talk about somebody Melvin and all that, and you're so skinny, you got both eyes look through the peacoat, stuff like that.
Right.
You should rap with that. So as we started just snapping, they started doing raps. You know, making it quicker. And then the people start making beats to it and rapping. The girl in the back, you know she's a whack, and the girl in the green, white, you so mean, stuff like that. We started doing that. When we go in the club, we used to be talking to the girls, singing to them, rapping to them. So rap poetry.
Do you remember what year that was, though?
Years. Ain't no years different. 71, 72.
Yeah,
71, 72?
Yeah, like 69, 70. Yeah. Well, 70 we came into it.
This Bronxdale,
right,
is the start, is the creation of hip hop.
Right.
Okay. Yes, we have black cultures, and there's what they call black culture or whatever, and which is actually brown culture. But it goes in genres. Okay. So, yes, we created music. Yes, we created the different cultures that go along with music and all the different things. Yes, we did. But that doesn't have anything with the creation of the different genres. Jazz, pop, R&B, soul, all of those things were genres that were created. Okay. So you remember we just saw the video. You sent me the video where the guy said that there's no such thing as the creation of hip hop,
right?
And that it was just black culture.
Hip-hop is not something created. People like Michael Wayne TV, they're pointing to like, hey, in the 1970s Bronx, hip-hop was created. No, hip-hop was not created. Hip-hop is nothing but ADOS FBA black culture. And we've been rapping since slavery, but on video since 1930. Hip-hop ain't nothing but ADOS FBA black culture, which we have been doing for 500 years.
You sent me the video where the guy said that there's no such thing as the creation of hip hop,
right?
And that it was just black culture,
right?
Okay. Now, the reason why I brought you to the front is because everything that we have, everything that is ours, is somehow manipulated. A perfect example of is this. Do you see that high-rise building there?
Right.
That's in Bronxdale. That was the parking lot of Bronxdale.
Right.
Now it's taken over with that.
Right.
Okay? So that's the same thing with hip hop. The kids that created hip hop, when we first created it, the older people were like, that is so stupid. That is so dumb. That is so whatever.
He catered to adults.
Right.
And adults were not hip-hop. Hip-hop was a youth-oriented movement. Hip-hop was a youth-oriented movement.
The older people were like, that is so stupid. That is so dumb. That is so whatever. But as soon as people started liking it, when soon as people wanted to hear what we were doing, then it became theirs.
What do you mean? Who's theirs?
It became
the adults?
The older people, not the young people, the older people.
Okay.
So the older people are not going to say, we got this from the younger people.
Right.
They're not going to say that at all. And so it's the same exact thing what I've been trying to say. This I hate to say his name, but this anniversary of hip hop, you know, one of my brothers even made it clear to me. He said, okay, you're saying the anniversary of. So the anniversary, the 50th anniversary means that it was already started because you're having the anniversary of it. So 50 years ago is that was the anniversary of something that already started.
Okay.
Okay. So now, those people that actually came into it or whatever, and I feel like they were not able to go to the source. You see what I'm saying? Especially back in those days. So people were not able to come to Bronxdale and see what the start is.
One thing about Bronxdale, if you didn't belong here, don't come here.
Right.
And if you came here, you knew somebody and you respect.
People were not able to say, okay, you know, I was in Bronxdale and I saw this or I saw that. They could go to which was considered upper class people, which that building that we went to and we saw, that was an upper class building.
1520?
Yes.
1520 Sedgwick.
Right.
Because on that part of town, to me, a lot of people was working. So a lot of working class people, like my mother, I wasn't allowed to be in a gang. I wasn't allowed to wear a dungaree jacket.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So the structure was different. Just like a lot of people over there, their fathers and mothers had money.
We didn't live in the ghetto because I don't believe we all live in it. It's a name. They just call it a ghetto because we're black, Puerto Rican. No. Middle class, black man, young.
And with terraces and all that stuff and all of the air conditioners, all of those things. But they felt more comfortable going to there than to come into the direct hood.
Right. Right.
Okay, so right there, you know that there's something lost just in between that. And the people that were interviewing and doing the write-ups and doing the things, they were not us.
Okay.
They were not us. This was another class of people. This was another pink. I'm just going to keep on saying, those were a pink people that came and did that, and that's where it was stolen. Because now they take what their views of what it is. They're not taking our views of what it started. They weren't taking our views or whatever. They're taking their views and saying this. And what happened? It got ran with. It got ran with. And so now it's hard to even say, Yo, that's not how it started. That's not how it started. There was no such thing as hip-hop. You're right. It got named hip-hop.
Right, it got named
after it's already done.
So you talking about the kid from I don't want to say kid, the dude from I want to say brother, the brother from Brown Skin is Amazing. He got a channel that says Black Skin is Amazing.
See, let me put it to you this way. Michael Wayne TV and all the great blacks in it are trying to prove a delusional term hip-hop. I'll say it again. Michael Wayne TV, great guy. Michael Wayne TV, he and everybody in it, all the guys he interviews, I laugh because they are trying to prove an illusion. Hip-hop is an illusion.
He got a channel that says Black Skin is Amazing, but nobody has black skin. Black is an illusion.
Right.
So he's saying, he said hip-hop is an illusion. He said it's really just African-American culture.
And
that's what you're talking about.
No, that's not just what I'm talking about.
Okay.
I'm talking about the whole collective of it.
Okay.
The whole collective of being able to say that hip-hop started at this 50. Okay? And being able to say that there was no such thing as hip-hop. Okay? Back then. There's other people, other channels and everything that say, no, hip-hop started here and hip-hop started there. Those people that say that cannot say it because they don't know, they were not there when it really did happen.
Okay.
So my thing is this. Give those kids recognition, because what they did changed the world.
Right. Well, you know what, FaZe, Herc has to do that because Kool Herc has to publicly talk about his
where he got it from.
Right.
I started to go to parties when I was 16 years old.
Where he got it from.
Right.
Right.
People
That'll
don't
never
know.
happen.
Right, people don't know.
He said pessimistic, but if that was going to happen, it would have been happened.
It would have been happened, right.
It would have been happened. But why would someone give up their money? Why would somebody say, okay, just like what I said about the kids? Why would somebody say, okay, I'm gonna let this reputation go and give up my money to give it to the respectful and the people that really honestly deserve it? That's what we were talking about with the with the justice and all of that.
Yeah.
That's not gonna
Right.
happen. So my thing is that those people that are so influenced by the fakeness will never realize the realness.
FaZe, you know what it is? Coca Rock said it. He said it's all according to who's writing the history.
Once again, to who told the story.
If breakdancers write the history, breakdancers is going to say Kool Herc started history.
Anyone who's original B.Boy, right? You had to go to a Herc party, man. Because Herc was the Mecca.
He was
the Mecca of the breakdance. Herc was the Mecca.
He was
the Mecca of the breakdance.
That was their champion, Kool Herc. So breakdancers writing the history, they're gonna say Kool Herc started this.
And that's a whole.
It depends what
is
now
okay.
For a breakdancer. That's what hip hop is. Breakdancing.
Okay. Right.
What is hip hop?
Just size bump to get busy right about now. Just size bump to get busy right about now.
If people understood where hip hop came from, when hip hop came to the fucking Bronx, it was not from fucking Bambaataa and James Brown. It came from a discrepancy from Kool Herc and Mario. Back then, it wasn't Bambaataa who started it. Bam was too fucking young. He was still rolling with the Spades. It was fucking Mario and Herc. There are pictures of fucking Herc at Disco King Mario parties in the early 70s. So there's a big discrepancy about who started who started what. Because on one side of the Bronx, it was the Disco King Mario.
What is hip hop?
So breakdancers writing the history, they're gonna say Kool Herc started this.
And that's a whole.
It depends what is now
okay.
For a breakdancer. That's what hip hop is. Breakdancing.
Okay. Right. Now,
you know what I'm saying?
listen. And that's the whole part that gets me so upset. You know, because I gotta say it on this video.
Okay.
I have to say it on this video. Okay. People say that Mario wasn't playing just the breaks. Okay. And when I hear that and I think about it, I say, and thank God that I know what I know, and thank God there were people that actually saw what I did and know that what I'm saying is exact fact. Okay? This thing that hip-hop, what they call hip-hop, it's going to be in my book also, because I'm doing a book.
Okay. About time. I've been told you.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. It didn't start. I'm not going to give you the exact link or whatever, but it didn't start with records. It didn't start with just hearing one part of the record. It did not start that way. Okay. So we're talking about the creation of it. Okay. The creation of it started with sitting on the steps, drew the picture of the steps. And this used to be a staircase.
Right.
Right. Okay, so in the staircase.
Right.
And
this wall right here. Right. This wall right here. It was a little more because they put it out further. But it's a staircase right behind this wall. Right. And that used to be a door right there.
Right. Now
that's Bronx there.
That's Bronx there.
That's
now,
Bronx there.
In the staircase is where hip hop started.
Now the elevators broke like something in the staircase, like something in the staircase, like something in the staircase.
In the staircase is where hip hop started.
Okay.
And that's the real truth.
Youth culture. That's what I'm saying.
Hip hop is the behavior, the attitude, the character that creates rap, creates DJing, creates graffiti writing. This is what hip hop is. It is not graffiti writing. It is not rap. It is not DJing. It is not beatboxing. It is the attitude that produces these things.
That's the part where the snaps came in.
Right.
That's the part where the dress came in.
Right.
That's the part where the different moves came in, the different quotes and stuff. That's where it started.
let me rephrase what I said on the other side. Hip hop began when our youth culture took over the environment and expressed themselves creatively.
Now there you're talking.
Right.
And now you're talking. Okay.
Right.
So now, when that started, right, those same kids that were in there didn't have a way to express that.
Right.
Okay. So when we went to someone that did have a way to express that, a lot of the older people that did that were not going to say, okay, yes, you could do that. They were not going to say that, okay, you could do this musically, and you could do this way. So, in the creation of hip hop, we were playing those breaks. Now, the difference was that the dance that we created from those breaks had to lead up to the breaks. So imagine just going to a party and all they're playing is boom, da, da, kaboom, ba, a boom, boom, ba, ba, kaboom, ba. That's all they're playing. And so when you go into there, that's the break part. So you got to go in there hitting the floor. You got to go in there. Right. As soon as you walk in, you hitting the floor.
Right.
Now, back in the days when hip hop started, for us, and you got to realize, for us, our thing was to impress the girls.
Right.
And so we want to dance with the girls.
Right.
So that's why the hustle, the bump, and all the freak, and all of those dances were with the girls. So imagine you going, and it's boom, that, and you standing in front of the girl, and you just breaking on the floor, and coming up, and doing that, and doing all of this, and everything. Where's the girl gonna get some enjoyment? Okay, so it started, hip hop started with a little bit of enjoyment for the female and a little bit enjoyment for the male. So you cannot say that Shaft in Africa, okay, that was a music that we could all dance to. James Brown, Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud. All of those James Brown earlier 60s records were being played. Right. Okay? And it wasn't until, we started, one guy buy the record, another kid buy the record, and that's when we were able to switch it to make it go continuous. But we only made it go continuous for a little while, and then we went to the next record. Okay. So, they don't understand. And then, I said this before, how that happened when we were in the staircase, all right? We were just in the staircase. We didn't come downstairs and say, upstairs and say, okay, we're going to go and we're going to do this. No, that's not how it happened. We'll be in the staircase. We'll be talking and everything. Hey, yo, you want to go do this? You want to bring this music outside? You want to do this or whatever? And that's how it started. So therefore, how could you have a flyer of that?
Right.
You can't.
Right.
How could you have a picture of that? You can't. Okay? So, in the beginning, the creation,
right,
as kids,
came out the culture.
It came out the culture,
right,
and we didn't have the what they got now with the different photographers that come and do the. Didn't have that. So right, because they didn't have that means that it didn't start?
Right. Phase, listen,
Does that mean that it wasn't created? Does that mean that it didn't have a start? Because it wasn't named hip hop in the beginning?
Right. Listen, Phase. You know what the issue is? There's a couple of issues I want to say. One of the issues is that when you talk about hip hop, like I say, like Kool Herc said, it depends on who's writing the story.
Once again, to who told the story.
Right. And
so
we understand that.
One of the issues is that for some people, especially breakdancers, hip hop is just about putting break beats together.
Right.
For other people, hip hop is beyond that. It's a whole different thing. Like he said, I am hip hop.
What is hip hop? Hip hop is the behavior, the attitude, the character that creates rap, creates DJing, creates graffiti writing.
So he's talking from a whole different perspective of what hip hop is.
Right.
That's part of the problem. Is it break beats or is hip hop more than just break beats?
And that's what I've always said. Hip hop is way more than break beats.
Right.
Hip hop is way more than flyers.
Right.
Hip hop is way more than dress.
Right.
Hip hop is way more than snaps and everything. So when you just categorize it as to being one thing,
right,
then that's where you're lost, and you will never get the concept of what hip hop is.
Right. See, so what I wanted to say, especially to that BSIA, I think it's called BSI, Brown Skin is Amazing channel. He said, because he was calling out Michael Wayne TV, so I didn't get respond.
And that is the proof that there's no such thing as hip hop. Hip hop is a scam created by everybody knows who created the scam, hip hop. We know who African Bambaataa created the scam label hip hop. He took our word, we created it, and he used it as a scam to scam ADOS, FBA out of our black culture. Do you want to know why everyone is so confused by the term hip hop and when it was created and who did it and why? Because it was created by an immigrant, African Bambaataa. The label. We created the word, but he used it as a label in 1982. An immigrant. So Michael Wayne TV is trying to prove an immigrant correct. Think about that. Michael Wayne TV and all the ADOS people in it are trying to prove an immigrant point. Like an immigrant made up some dude. See, let me put it to you this way. Michael Wayne TV and all the great blacks in it are trying to prove a delusional term hip hop. I'll say it again. Michael Wayne TV, great guy. Michael Wayne TV, he and everybody in it, all the guys he interviews, I laugh because they are trying to prove an illusion. Hip hop is an illusion.
Because he was calling out Michael Wayne TV, so I need to respond. So, one thing I want to say is I agree with everything he's saying. Well, let me say first, I seen him go off on a Spanish troll dude.
Okay.
So I consider the brother an ally. So I agree with everything he's saying because he was saying, well, hip hop is just black culture. We always been doing that. It's just black culture. It's no different. Hip hop is just an illusion in every word. It's just a made up word by a Caribbean. Mm-hmm. So
the illusion is black.
Right, and that's ironic because your channel is an illusion. Your channel is an illusion. You say black skin is amazing because you don't have black skin.
Right.
Show me your black skin.
Right.
You know Show me your black skin.
Show me your black
it's
skin.
It's an illusion. So, but what I want to say is I agree with him with most of the things he was saying. The only thing I'm saying is hip hop is different than the other cultures of the past because hip hop has to do with the youth culture.
Hip hop was a youth-oriented movement.
Right.
It's not adults. Right. It's youth-oriented.
Right.
On these streets, the youth of the South Bronx is molded and educated in the rules of the survival game.
Last night, when I was in the house, I heard a shot and they put a man by a car in.
And that's the main difference. Most of those cultures, whether it's jazz or bebop or...
Yeah, he's a total swing. Just about ready to do that thing.
Yes, just come on, brothers, if you want to hear a story about that preacher and the bear.
Or what the last poets was doing, those were grown men doing what they was doing. Right. Grown men was in control of that.
The shanties are rare. The front is a hustler. When they find you, cops don't credit at AJ Jensen.
Those were grown men doing what they was doing.
And adults were not hip-hop.
Right. Grown men was in control of that. You talk about the old block parties.
We haven't getting ready for a block party.
The old block parties was organized by grown people. The old block parties was organized by grown people.
Right.
Hip hop, we had jams.
We called them jams.
That was different. I learned from you.
That's right.
Hip hop, we had jams that was organized by the youth, teenagers and preteens.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's the biggest
even
difference.
Younger than teenagers.
Preteens.
Right. Yeah, even
teenagers
right,
and
preteens. Right. Okay.
So that to that channel, Brown Skin is Amazing. That's the main difference of hip hop. And I want to tell you something else. The reason why I'm passionate about it is not only because my community was involved at the beginning. Not only that, the reason why I'm passionate about hip hop's beginnings coming from teenagers and preteens is because, from my understanding, that's the main group that was taken in the transatlantic enslavement, was a whole bunch of young people. It was 18-year-olds and 17-year-olds. The human trafficking that we call slavery, whether you want to say we was here already as indigenous people or whatever, they were still
younger
they
than
was
that.
They're right. They was trafficking young people across to the islands, back and forth from the Caribbean islands. So that's why another reason why I'm passionate about who started hip hop. It was young teenagers and preteens, the same age group, from my understanding, that was involved with this human trafficking and slavery.
Yes.
So that's important for you to understand, right?
That's a perfect point,
right?
And now that we even address the issue of that, listen, like he said, as far as an ally, because you went against the troll and everything, we're honestly, and this is my belief. I don't know if he believes this, but I believe that you're a younger person. I believe that you're younger than me, and I don't want to discourage you. I don't want to seem like I'm going at you or anything, because that's not what I'm doing. What I'm trying to do is show you, listen, there is even a different way than what you're looking at it as now. You know, and so just like we said about the illusions, you know, you said for them to show you something, they have Joe Conza or something, they have these pictures.
Show me the video, the footage. I want Joe Conza. He was there. Show me the video, the photos of niggas talking about we are creating a new music genre called hip-hop. It's 1971, 1968, 1975, it's 1980. Have Joe Conza, that Puerto Rican motherfucker, show me where you got videos, pictures, flyers. Hey, we are creating hip hop.
We're trying to tell you is that hip hop and these things started before these people. It started before, so those people, they came in on it. They came in on it. So if you want to go to the creation, you have to go back to the creation. And you have to go back to where the source of what it started happened. Just like a seed. A seed is a seed until it sprouts out to whatever it's going to become.
So when did youth culture take over their environment and begin to express themselves creatively? From my understanding, African American children was not always able to come out, take over their environment.
And so that happened in 1971.
There you go. In the early 70s, African American youth.
You only got to say
71, right? And I want to talk about that too. I want to talk about that.
1971 was a year of revolutionary consciousness.
71, everybody wanted to be. I mean, that's when everybody came to Bronxdale and shit and said, yo, I want to join, I want to join, I want to join. And before we knew it, I mean, people would come from all over. I mean, they'll come from Dogs Neck. They come from Monroe. They come from over here.
The youth was able to really turned up. Bronxdale turned up. But the youth, basically back in the early 70s, 71, was basically any given night you would see hundreds and hundreds of teenagers roaming the streets.
And we came rolling up here. We walked down Soundview Avenue, walked in the Monroe Projects. We marching. There's about 100 of us. We picking up niggas as we go.
You know what I'm saying? Roaming the streets. I mean, teenagers and preteens took over their environment, and that's what we're saying is the start of hip hop.
Hey, if you hear a rumor, you come and see yourself.
It really doesn't matter if Mario, was all into the break beats. It really doesn't matter. It's a point of the teenagers coming over, expressing themselves. And then later on, some other teenagers said, well, I know how to make the party better. I'm going to put the break beats together.
If they're waiting for this particular break and I have a couple more records that's got the same breakup in it, I wonder how would it be if I put them all together.
And this is where I did a lot of my experimenting with the turntables and the whole thing until I created something that the whole world jumped on. Just cutting and rubbing, and zucka and all that.
Another teenager came and said, well, I know how to make the party better. I'm going to do this.
But I have to stop you. You keep on saying teenagers.
Preteens and teenagers. Because you can't get rid of the teenagers.
Yes, you can. And it's not get rid of it. It's not get rid of it. Because I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you. In the beginning, the teenagers thought that we were stupid, that we were never gonna amount to nothing, that it was never gonna go nowhere.
And it wouldn't have if it wasn't for the teenagers.
Well, exactly. There you go. So
Grand Wizard Theodore, they say, was a 12-year-old. That's a preteen.
Okay, and that's what I'm saying. So now, think about it. We're talking about the creations. We're talking about the beginning. So the beginning is preteen and then the teenager.
And that's an important thing that I don't think a lot of people don't cover when they talk about hip hop,
cover. And they do not realize that that's the creation.
We had a culture. And the culture looks exactly like what y'all call it hip-hop.
Right.
But this is what we did when we party.
Right.
Yo, we drink that wine.
And they do not realize that that's the creation of it.
And that's what I want to say to this, because he says something like, Mario and them did something that was done before. Teenagers taking over the environment and putting on jams was never done before. I don't know of it. If there was teenage coaches other than the Black Spades in 1971, if there was other teenage youth coaches, let us know, because I don't know of any youth coaches that took over the environment and expressed themselves creatively. It's like Kool Herc said the same thing. Kool Herc said that them, and they was teenagers too, Kool Herc, they had to break through the barrier. He said we broke through the barrier because he said before us, as far as the nightclubs.
Right.
The nightclubs.
And that's a perfect
Let me get finished.
Okay.
Kool Herc said they broke through the barrier of the nightclubs where the people would give you a playlist.
That's why cats act like everybody was on the turntable at the same time. You ain't even called your name out. You couldn't even talk. When you was a DJ, you was a mobile DJ. You played for somebody. So when you come, half the time they give you a list. That's why I said it. I broke through that barrier.
They would give you a playlist. So Kool Herc and them, they broke through that barrier of expressing themselves. They had the freedom to express themselves creatively.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying. That's the lowest common denominator to hip hop.
Right.
Teenagers with the freedom to express themselves creatively.
And so now that's a perfect example of what we were talking about. Okay, so us as the young youth before the preteens, right? The preteens were playing the records that everybody was playing.
Okay.
The top 10 or the top whatever. Because our records were totally different is why they say that we didn't do. We played rock records, we played jazz records, we played soul music, we even played some blues music. Okay? And so because we were playing these genres, that's when the teenagers and older people were like, that's not a part of the top 10. We never heard that. We never whatever. But then when they see that these records are giving them the dance that they needed to do, then it became, okay, so now, and they took over.
Hip-hop was a youth-oriented movement. It's not adults. It's youth-oriented. And the adults were very young adults. Very, very young. And those adults were still connected to us.